chewing on a toy.
Of course she is.
Well, hello. Welcome to Duoqueue. I am Shamai Badar-san. This is Graylish. And we used to do Preseason Riff podcast, but we have decided to change things
ourselves.
up. Rebrand, because a friend created that and we don't have access to it, so we figured let's do our own thing. So here we are. But if you haven't watched this before, sorry, there's a cat distracting me. We like to talk about the LCS, or wait, what is it
Pro
for?
League of Legends, the LCS.
Is it League of Legends, Championship Series? So it's North America's professional League of Legends scene. I don't think we've ever talked about this, but I feel like that's kind of like more my specialty. I don't know. Like, we both watch all of it, but I get more into like the amateur and like that kind of scene.
You get more into the amateur. And
I know more about like the background kind of stuff. Whereas I feel like, well, we don't really do that with Europe. You're just kind of like, you do it like all regions.
I
definitely
go into a lot of like even especially Eastern regions, like LPL, LCK, a little bit of the minor ones, but not that much because they're.
I was gonna say they're what?
They're about as interesting as the amateur scene here.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Not to be rude or anything.
He said it. No, and we're called Duoqueue because there's two of us. We also play, well, we haven't played in a while. We've been distracted with a lot of Pokemon, and which if you haven't played Pokemon Violet or Scarlet, I highly recommend. Yeah, I highly recommend Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. I know it's buggy. It is buggy. But it's a lot of fun.
Issues, but like the ideas behind it is, it's a fantastic game.
It's a good game. It's just a good game. But we've been playing that a lot, and I've been playing a lot of Genshin as usual, because Genshin Impact is kind of the other game, I guess, that we... But,
Genshin, League, Pokemans.
But when we do play, he is a solo laner, specifically top lane, and I play jungle because nobody else wants to play jungle.
For good reason.
Right, so we're the perfect duo queue. I just camp top.
Except you don't camp top.
Okay, when it's just us two, I camp top all the time. And when we play with other people, some people are a little bit more needy than you.
That is fair.
And so I have to babysit their lane. Otherwise, we lose the game.
I mean, we still lose the game.
We still lose a lot of games, but... So, that's that. And we also cover LEC, which is now the... let me see if I can get this right. It's League of Legends European Middle Eastern Championship.
They extended their name this year.
They're the EMEA, something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But they expanded EMEA, which we'll talk about later. But we cover both, so that's why. I mean, we cover all the Western, the major Western regions, but
Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Or Africa. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, let's just hop into what we want to talk about. I know we just had a kind of a major event happen.
Slightly.
Just the biggest event in League of Legends.
Just the yearly tournament that everybody is shooting for. Okay, hopefully all pros are shooting for this tournament.
I'm just saying, we don't got a lot of Western teams here on this bracket.
No, we do not.
In fact, 0 Western teams.
No, we have one. Rogue.
Oh, Rogue! I forgot Rogue made it out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I really didn't feel like they made it out because it was not
they
close.
got absolute stomped. Yeah, 3-0. But
3-0 by JDG. I mean, it wasn't the only 3-0 there. Team 1 3-0 to RNG, but that series felt way closer.
Yeah, that definitely did. But yeah,
it was fantastic. If you have not watched it, I would actually recommend going back and watching like 6 of these series I think
all 3 DRX ones.
For sure, all 3 DRX. I would watch Gen GT, JDGT one's a good one. And I think the only one that you really can skip is JDG RNG. Or
yeah, that's fair.
JDG versus Rogue.
That was a wee bit of a stomp.
Yeah.
But it was a really good world. I was impressed with the play.
I felt like level of play was really, really good.
Across the board.
Across the board. Even as much as we just memed on the West, at certain points, Western teams did show up, and they...
eating the tree, the Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
They did show up, though, and, like, they had good games. And, like, you... Gosh darn it, that hurt. Like, you have, the Evil Geniuses versus the Mad Lions in play-ins.
Yeah, that was pretty hype.
That was hype series, and Evil Geniuses completely
freaking Mad Lions lost again. Gosh, man. They didn't win a single best of 5.
Yeah, all year. They have not won a best of 5.
Oof. Big oof.
Right. Wait. No, they did win a best of 5. We're wrong about that. They beat,
that's right, because they had one before EG.
Yeah, they beat,
No.
Can't even remember. It was it the Turkish team?
I think it was.
Which is Istanbul.
I think it was because we were like, oh no, is the Turkish team going to beat them? Because didn't the Turkish team take the first game or something?
I think they did.
Like stomped them or something?
I think they did.
And I remember watching that, I was like, oh no.
Uh-oh.
But they are, I think they're the first major region team to get knocked out of at plans 2 times.
I think so. I know for sure that they were the first major team to get knocked out by a non-major region in play-ins, and then I do think this makes them the first one to get knocked out twice. Like,
Mad Lions, you gotta stop getting into these plans. It's just not good for you.
If they had just won only one best of 5 before this, they would have not been in play-ins. That's all they needed.
Yikes.
They couldn't do it.
Nope.
But hey, they still made it to Worlds. And they had some good games. Like, they had good games. They were the weakest out of all Western teams.
And they were a 4 seed. Like,
they were the 4th seed, yeah.
And there's a pretty clear distinction between even the LCS 3rd seed to the LEC 4th seed.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So
that is that.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, West showed up. The East, though, was definitely dominant.
And Korea reclaims their crown.
They do reclaim their crown. I mean, they get 3 out of the 4 semi spots. So.
Yep. Honestly, Damwon probably would have beaten, I would say, at least 2 of the Korean teams that were in the knockout stage. I don't know if they beat JDG, but I could see them beating RNG and
Oh, you mean Damwon would have beaten the LPL teams?
Yeah. So,
what did I say? I think you said the Korean teams, but yeah. No, I know you're saying the Chinese teams.
Yeah.
I think EDG might have pulled out ahead of Damwon.
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, if you go back and look at Damwon's game, there's definite issues throughout their gameplay, which is such a shame because, I mean, you look at the players on Damwon and, okay, Nuguri hasn't been having that great.
No, and he actually retired. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did not see that. Okay,
yeah,
so
he retired.
He retired. It's a shame. He is a world champion. But like Canyon and Showmaker both were not having the best year. Canyon really turned it up for the tournament, and Showmaker showed up in a lot of games, but
which is so disappointing because they're like potentially 2 of the best players in the world.
And they are.
And they might be 1 and 2. Like they're very, very good.
I don't know if I put them.
I wouldn't put them there now.
I wouldn't either.
But if you would have said like even last year or 2 years ago.
Oh no, 2 years ago for sure. They were
like 1 and 2. It was
potentially
like
1 and
Showmaker
2.
and Canyon.
Yeah, and even in this tournament, I would put them top 3 mid jungle duos. Because like even we might get a balloon pop here soon. Even the winners, DRX, I would not put Pioshik and Zeka as a higher mid jungle duo than Showmaker and Canyon. I would even put Faker Owner over them.
Yeah.
Kanavi Yagao. I mean EDG. No.
Who's Genji's jungler?
Genji is Peanut.
No, I'd put Peanut and.
I don't know if I'd put Peanut in.
I want to say Ruler, but it's not Ruler. Chovy.
Okay.
Oh, it depends on which Peanut and Chovy show up.
If it's the Genji DRX Peanut Chovy, the Chovy was
running it.
He was running it. He looked tilted, like super tilted. But overall, happy with Worlds personally, and I would put like 2 of these series in my top 5 World Series.
We might have to do a tier list or something.
Maybe at some point.
All right. Oh yes, that's what I want to talk about. So, of course, every year they have to change something about some league somewhere because never satisfied. So the challengers scene is changing. It used to be a very strange format of you had a regular season for the LCS Academy teams, and then there was also basically a play-in tournament for non-LCS teams, and then they get into this huge best-of-3 double elimination tournament, which then eventually, the Proving Grounds, which then moves into a best-of-5, and then you have a champion out of that. So, and I think they did that. I think there's 2. I think there's a spring Proving Grounds and a summer Proving Grounds.
Yeah.
So there's 2 splits basically. So they are going away with that. And essentially what is happening is they will have 2 splits again. They will have 10 fixed teams, which are the challenger teams associated with LCS teams. So academy teams. And then they will have 6 other teams that they will bring in through these qualifier tournaments. And so they will do that, and then they will have a spring split, which I think they already announced the 6 teams. Let me see if I can pull that up. But so they will have 16 teams in a. Oh, let me see if it's. 10 fixed teams, so it doesn't say which provisional teams they have. But so their 10 fixed teams will have a double round robin, I believe it is, or something like that. And then they will go into a playoff where they will have basically it's relegation and promotion essentially, except for with the 10 LCS affiliated teams. So it's, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't feel like I'm doing it justice explaining it the way I'm explaining it. But there are some good features about it. I swear I saw which team? That's the same article. Nope, that's not it. Is that it? Oh. Yeah, Leaguepedia might have it. Let's see.
There's the Academy cast, right?
I think I saw it on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter. LCS EV would have it if it's on here. Yep, here it is. Okay. So these are the 6 provisional teams for the spring split. It is CLG Faith, which is their third team. Fly Fam, stupid name, but that's FlyQuest's third team. Team Liquid First. Wild Card, Area of Effect, and Cincinnati Fear. So those are the 6 teams that qualified, I guess, for this tournament thing. And so they'll do like a regular split, then they'll have playoffs, and then I think it is the bottom 4
of the 6 teams that get relegated.
Bottom 4 provisional teams and the top 4 teams from the qualifier, which is a couple tournaments that they decide who will play in this qualifier. They will play, and either they will promote to this Challengers League, or they will relegate if they were already in the Challengers League.
Okay.
So, that's an interesting new kind of twist. It's basically the same thing as the Proving Grounds. They've just included these teams in a regular season and the playoffs versus it was just the playoffs. And then they've made it so that way there's fluidity between the 6 teams. I wish they would include the LCS Challenger teams because I think that would make it interesting. But then that ruins the incentive for these LCS teams to hold on to their rosters.
Yeah, no, I see. There's definitely some upsides to having the 10 fixed teams, because then you get, essentially, I feel like with the academy teams, it gives each LCS team a 10-man roster that they can work with, if not more, obviously.
Which, I mean, technically you could keep your team, they would just be in that qualifier.
Yeah, they would be in the qualifier, so like you could still keep them, and they're just not getting the professional practice. Because like even though it's academy, it's lower tier, it's lower quality games, it is still an on-stage experience.
True, yeah.
And you often get to play against former pro players. Like, I don't know if you have some of the academy rosters, but I know one
we could pull
is...
this is a better...
Okay.
Okay.
I want to say it's TSM's roster.
Yes,
academy roster.
There's a lot of controversy about this.
There's a lot of controversy, but it's Hansert, Svenskeren, and then Wild Turtlebot with I think it's suspected Triple and Duoqueue.
Which Triple's been in academy for a while.
Yeah, but like that's 3 pro players have all been to Worlds. I think have all won championships in NA. And they're playing in the academy team, which obviously is a lot of controversy on that. I think for good reason, but
I think I agree and disagree. Just
I think there's good reason to have controversy, but I actually think it's healthy for them to be in there. Personally.
Well, and if you think about it too, and I'm not trying to steal anybody's content, but I did watch because I Will Dominate did a video about this.
Yes, I watched. I think I watched the same one.
Yeah. And Hansard hasn't played in a couple years.
I mean, I think he was out this last year, and he's been in academy before that.
Right, and I don't think Svenskeren played last year.
Yeah, he didn't play.
And I don't think Wild Turtle played last year. So instead of... So the point that Dom made, and I think this is a really good point, is this is potentially just a one-split stopping ground, you know?
Yeah.
Do I still have it to play at the LCS level?
Yeah, I mean, this is...
Let me play on Academy for a split. I know TSM, they all know Reggie, they all know the system, which I'm surprised Wild Turtle's going back to TSM.
I'm surprised they're all in there.
But he's suspended.
That's right, he is suspended. Okay, so that's why they're all there. Yeah. They're fine with it now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
So I kind of agree with that point where it's like, well, you know, this might be just a little stop in the road, you know?
Yeah. And I think even past that, though, kind of what I was talking about is, like, you get these provisional teams where they're pretty much all going to be non-former pros, at least for the most part.
Right.
I mean, maybe some former pros make it on there because it's been a while since they've been playing or whatever, but, like, they get to have this experience in a regular season against pro players.
Yeah.
Like tried and tested pro players. Now, the one thing that actually is surprising to me is I'm assuming they did a path to LCS or a tournament to decide these 6 teams, but 100 Thieves Next did not make it.
No, they did not.
That one surprised me because I was under the assumption that they were pretty good.
I'm assuming this provisional team, like the first 6 provisional teams, may be an application based. Like, I'm assuming they had to apply and be like, oh, look, we have these players. We think they'll be good.
But I feel like 100 Thieves Next would have 100% been on top of that. Maybe not. Maybe
I don't know. I don't know. So, because, yeah, you would think so, but...
I mean, 100 Thieves is one of the big orgs.
It is. And they're one of the big orgs that's really into developing talent, or so they claim. But based on their roster, there's some doubts. I mean, we'll get into it. Yeah, that one.
There's some doubts. There's
some moves that they've made in the past too that indicate otherwise. But
yeah,
that's.
I mean, like, you look at the other one that we always look at for developing talent of Cloud9, and like they've been pretty consistent. Like, they brought Licorice up. They brought Zazel up too, right?
Who did?
Cloud9.
Yeah.
Like, they brought up these players, and I mean, Licorice is, I believe, still on a team. So like, he's still a pro player, and like, they brought up young talent, but they've also held on to people for a long time or had interesting moves. Like, they brought Perks over.
Yeah.
Which, quick shout out, I heard Perks got married.
He did get married, so.
Yeah, so congrats to him. Now he's got the wife buff. Maybe now he can finally win Worlds.
No. Sorry, Perks. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Other big news. We talked about this. We have the League of Legends EMEA Championship now. So they've combined Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So no more Turkish imports, basically.
I mean, half of their people were Turkish imports, it felt like.
Maybe G2, but...
I mean, G2, Mad. I'm surprised Mad didn't grab another Turkish because they lost in the play-ins again.
But they didn't lose.
They didn't lose to the Turkish team.
I'm surprised they didn't grab an NA player.
Maybe they tried to grab Danny, and that's
JoJo.
He bounced.
They tried to grab JoJo. Yeah, then Danny, Vulcan. So that's the big news there, and then the other big news is this monstrosity of a graphic here. So LCS is moving to 3 splits.
LAC.
LAC is moving to 3 splits. They will have a winter, spring, summer. I guess technically kind of 4 because there's a finals split thing. But let me see if I can explain this. Okay.
This monstrosity.
So we have 3 weeks of the regular season, best of 1 single round robins. Each team will play each other. Oh, we also have 2 new teams. Well, kind of 2 new teams. 1 new team, Heretics, and then KOI bought the naming rights on Rogue.
So it's KOI Rogue.
It's Rogue. Yeah, it's KOI Rogue. It's the Rogue roster.
Minus
most of the Rogue roster.
Yeah.
We'll talk about. But the KOI name. So, best of 1 single round robin. Top 8 will go to a best of 3 double elimination in the group stage. Then the top 4 will go to a best of 5 double elimination. And that winner of that will be the winter split champion. Then that will repeat in spring and then also in summer. The 3 split champions and 3 of the highest championship points. So depending on where you finish in each stage will determine how many championship points you have. So the top 3 championship points and the 3 split champions will go into a best of 5 double elimination bracket. Did I say the best of 3 and best of 5 for the top 8, top 4 were double eliminated? I don't think
I think you mentioned for the top 4 at least, but yeah, no, they're both double elimination.
Yep.
But
it's it's a lot. It's gonna be a lot of games for some teams. That's gonna be the interesting. Some teams like I won't get into. We'll get into this later. I'm just gonna pick a random team here. Let's say Fnatic is bad. Okay, you could have a 9-week season.
Yeah.
Like all year round.
Yep.
Oh, there's
There's the balloon. Finally got it, girl. Actually, no. Give me a second.
Oh, she's eating balloon. But you could have a 9-week season, which is kind of great. Like 9 games. Like that's crazy.
Even past a 9-week season.
Actually, it would be 27 games, but
yeah, it would be 27 games because you get to play everybody 3 times. But
no, that's not more.
It's actually less than before.
Yeah.
It's just like you have every team is gonna have bad weeks.
Yep.
You have 2 bad weeks in a split, you're gone. You have no chance.
Yeah.
You're just.
But I mean, it is top 8.
Oh
so,
yeah,
so
no, I know
odds,
it's top
the odds
8,
of you
but...
not getting into the playoffs are 20%.
Yeah. Well, I just know if you go back to some of the seasons and you look after 2 weeks, and you look at the standings, and sometimes the top 3 or even the championship team will be in the bottom 2.
Yeah, that's true. They'll have one bad week and be 0-2.
Yeah,
be 10th place.
It happens. I mean, also there's always the MSI debuff when they come back from MSI. They always everybody always plays poorly. And...
Which I think it's the spring split champ will be the MSI representative, I believe. Yes, it has to be because April to June. It has to be.
That's what one would think. The more I look at this, the more you need a college degree to understand what the frick is going on.
I will say I do like how they are getting to best of 3s and best of 5s faster, because that's where you get the more exciting matchups.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that I don't know. Have I talked to you about the best of 2?
The best of 2 system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have talked about.
I think the best of 2 system, for me personally, feels like the best system.
If we're talking balance between watchability and getting the most games, getting the most experience, I agree. I think best of 2 is best.
I mean, all you have to do is just you make it like a or football, depending on which region you're from.
Okay. U.S.
soccer.
And
that's right.
UK tied, so debate is still out there.
No, it's soccer now.
It's soccer now.
We tied you at your own sport.
We tied you at your own sport.
No, but if you do a best of 2, then it's like soccer where you get plus 3 points, right? And you can even do plus 1 per game. So if you win 2 games, that's plus 2.
Yeah.
If you win 1 game, that's plus 1. If you win no games, that's 0.
Yeah. And so you just do a point system.
Just do a point system. And so you can do a double round robin. You can even do just one round or one robin.
Mm-hmm.
And just play everybody and just do each week. Do a game Friday and a game Saturday.
Yeah.
Or something,
No, I agree with that. My issue though with the new LEC system, or the EMEA.
It's still LEC.
It's just League of Legends EMEA Championship.
Yeah, they made it LEC still. Which, hey, thank you for doing that at least.
It's way easier to say LEC and LCS or LCK, LVL, LCO, TCL, whatever it is.
LLA. Lala.
CB LOL.
That's the best one.
That one is the best one.
CB LOL.
Actually, props to them. They did show up.
They did, yes.
They had a good performance. But my issue is you have the 3 splits here, and then you go into that 4th quote-unquote split, which is the season finals.
Yeah.
Which is the best of 5 double elimination. But if we're looking at the graphic here, it's assuming that they get 3 different champions, which most likely won't happen. And then obviously it's just you take the champions.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, well, you take the champions and then you take the next ones until you fill in all the spots.
Well, let's say you have one.
You have one,
that wins 3
and then
times.
You take the next 5 that are highest championship points. But it brings in that somebody could have a really good winter, win the championship, and be
then
absolute garbage the rest of the year.
Doggy dog.
They get into the finals.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
Like
I will say,
Not a
for
big fan of
figuring out which teams go to Worlds, this is way better.
Agreed.
Because I hate that you have a really good regular season, you auto qualify for Worlds. It's like, no, that's stupid.
I mean, we were just talking about it, but Mad Lions, the Mad Lions won one best of 5 the entire year.
Not even in their region.
Not in their region, against a minor region team.
No.
Like, that's embarrassing. And like, this system does try and get away from that, because you have 3 sets of best of 3s for the top 8, then 3 best of 5s for the top 4 for each split, and then you have a best of 5 double elimination season final bracket that you're gonna have to win at least the best of 5 to get out of there.
You know what you reminded me of is when they did Rift Rivals. When was the last time they did Rift Rivals?
It was
Was it 2019?
Yeah, I guess it was 2019. I thought yeah, it was 2019, because the 2020 was the weird one.
Was it 2019? No, it wasn't Rift Rivals. It was Worlds when 100 Thieves made it to Worlds. With the tarot, they made it based off of championship points, and they had like a dog roster. It was real bad.
It must have been.
I don't think you
18.
were. I think so. Let me see.
It would have been 2017, 2018.
Okay. Oh, Wikipedia. Oh well.
100 Thieves with Someday and Ryu.
Yes, it was Someday and Ryu. Rikara, because Cody-san didn't play Afro. That is a dog roster.
Yeah, that's not great.
That it was so bad. That was a really, really bad one. But I think that was the year that Cloud9 ended up.
I mean, if it's 2018, yeah, because Cloud9 would have knocked out.
But like 100 Thieves they beat G-Rex twice, but they went 2-4 against Fnatic and IG.
I mean, this is 2018. That is the finals right there, Fnatic IG.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah. It was
the
bad.
finals was 3-0 in the group stage. I think they both went 1-1 against each other, and then had a tiebreaker.
Yeah, you're right.
Which Fnatic won.
Yes, I believe they did. Yeah.
So.
But it was not. Good.
That does not look.
No,
good.
It was a bad roster. But they made it based off championship points, and they were our 2nd seed, which was really stupid because Cloud9 clearly should have been our 2nd seed. But
wasn't the case.
No.
It was this.
That's right, because
year that
they made they made the finals.
They made finals and
because they had Someday, Meteos, Ryu, Cody-san, Afromu, and they just like popped off that split and made it all the way to the finals and got swept fastest time by Team Liquid at that time.
Destroyed.
Yeah. And then they were.
I think that's still the fastest time for
No, because that was the fastest, and then 100 Thieves broke that when they beat TL 3-0.
I thought they almost broke it.
No, they did break it, and then EG broke that when they 3-0'd 100 Thieves.
So 100 Thieves is up there in the top 3. Let's go.
And they're all 3 in the top. They won
they
one
only
and
won
they lost.
Hey, I'd rather have a team that runs it down fast or wins fast. No, it wouldn't.
Let's see here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
78 minutes fastest.
Yeah, that's just is no good. Okay, no, that's right. Then Cloud9 this summer.
I think they almost broke it.
Was almost the top. So I think that puts 100 Thieves at the top 4. And they've only won one of those series.
Not good. Not good.
Not good at all. But it is what it is. No, I do think I agree with you that I understand the concept behind championship points and having this system. Having this system that does still use championship points.
I think we're still alive, yeah.
The system that still uses...
I don't know what the freak happened there.
Championship points is better. Are we still live?
It says live.
Okay, yeah, we are still live. It's better to have it this way so that you get a bracket to really determine, because in this one, Mad Lions doesn't make it.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't.
So you get a better 4th seed, which LEC did have better 4th seeds in my opinion. I think XL would have been better. I can't think of it. Misfits? Maybe?
Maybe Misfits.
I don't think anybody else would have been better. But...
SK? Vitality?
We don't talk about that. I mean, we're going to talk about that next, I think.
No.
We're talking about rosters
Yeah,
next?
well, let's talk about LCS roster changes.
Okay.
So...
These are the supposed?
Yes. I mean, most of these are pretty much confirmed. I don't know what the asterisks mean. I think the asterisks might be confirmed. 100 Thieves, we got Tenacity, which they did promote him. Closer, Bjergsen, Double Lift, Busio. Busio was also promoted from Academy. Cloud9, same roster, but Diplex for Jinsen. CLG, same roster, running it back. Dignitas, big change, all 5 spots. Armut, Santorin, Jinsen, Spawn, Ignar. They are the garbage men of the LCS. Not saying these players are garbage. I'm just saying they're collecting everybody else's trash and making a monster collage out of it.
I mean, Mad drops Armut, Dignitas picks up Armut, Santorin gets dropped from Team Liquid. Picked up by Dignitas. Jensen gets dropped from Cloud9 because Cloud9 hates Jensen.
No, Cloud9. I watched a video on this because Cloud9 released a 40-minute video about roster building, which I thought would be interesting, and it was not that interesting. But they did talk about this, and they wanted to keep him, but he wanted to explore his options and see what was out there.
Okay.
And Dignitas offered him a bigger contract than Cloud9 wanted to pay.
Okay.
And so they decided to part ways. And also, I also found out that Jack was talking to Core JJ
about coming
to Cloud9, and asked Berserker and said, "Do you want to play with Core JJ? He's Korean and one of the best supports of all time." And he said no, he wants to play with Sven. So
you know what? I can get respect. I can actually get behind the bot lane synergy.
Yeah.
Like having a duo that actually really likes to play with each other.
Yeah. And that was it. And that's what, because Sven, they also talked about how Sven was looking at ADC options, and he did have some options to play ADC for LEC and LCS teams. But
I would imagine he's fantastic.
Decided he would rather play with Cloud9 than he would.
Yeah. So I can get behind
respect. Evil Geniuses, same roster. Well, no, they're melding the 100 Thieves and EG roster together. So Someday Inspired JoJo FBI is replacing Danny, and then Vulcan. FlyQuest is Impact Spica. I heard their mid was what's his name? I don't remember who their mid was, but I heard that their AD carry is actually Prince, not Johnson. Prince was Liv Sandbox's AD carry.
Yeah, really good AD carry.
And Isla, who honestly should have been on an LCS team last year.
I mean, the weeks that he was, most people did consider him still the second best.
Oh my gosh! Okay, once I get through this, I forgot to mention something that was extremely important about the challengers. Golden Guardians, Licorice, River, Gory, Stixay, Huhi. Huhi's going back to Stixay. Immortals is Revenge, Kinvi, Ablaze, Olive, Tactical, and they're not sure. Which, did they announce? They may have announced it. I should probably look at this as well.
pull this up.
Fleshy? Vikla, that's right, is the supposed
Vikla, okay.
FlyQuest mid.
What team was he on?
Huh?
What team was Vikla on? Was he on a team?
I thought he was.
He's young.
I think he was a challenger player, actually. Korean challenger player, not LCS challenger. I want to say he's pretty good. KT Rolster.
Okay, so he was on KT Rolster.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay.
And he's supposedly playing for FlyQuest is the rumor. It has not been confirmed as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Fleshy. I do not know who Fleshy is, but
he's from the EMEA.
Which could mean anything now.
I mean, we get everything from... I mean, it can be from any of those regions, but also...
he is Turkish.
Okay.
So he played with
Turkish. Okay.
Turkey team in SR.
Funnily enough, I tend to trust the Turkish players coming over here than the EU players.
I don't know about support, though. I don't think we've had a Turkish support.
We don't...
We've had a Turkish AD carry, we've had a Turkish jungler, we've had a Turkish top. We've never had a Turkish support. Broken Blade.
Oh gosh darn it, yeah. Okay, Broken Blade is
but
like
he's technically
half
German,
EU.
right?
Yeah, I think he has German citizenship.
He's a halvesy.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
No, I don't think he takes up an import slot in EU.
Well, not anymore.
No, he doesn't, for sure. But I don't think he did before anyway.
I don't think he did either.
But I don't think we've imported many supports besides Core JJ.
I think we've imported a lot of supports.
I mean, okay, Ignar,
Destiny was an import for...
Okay, OS doesn't count.
Okay, well, it did at the time when he was imported.
I'm not counting Sven,
Mithy,
that doesn't count.
Mithy was an import with TSM.
That is true.
Ignar, we already said. Core JJ, you said. Winsome. No, Winsome was resident, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't fair, I'm looking at old stuff. Because there were some other imports. Because wasn't TSM used to import like every role almost?
I mean, yeah, we did have
Yellow
TSM,
Star
Yellow Star, also just recently played for Suning.
Oh, Sword Art?
Sword Art, yeah.
Sword Art. So we've imported a handful.
We've imported a handful, but I feel like it's one of our least imported roles.
I mean, if you look at like mid, which is our probably most imported role, we have like Bjergsen, Diplex is an import. Palafox is NA. Jensen is an import. No, Jensen's an import though. Technically, he's not U.S.
He is not, but I think everybody would consider
him as an import because he's
at the start he was. But I think everybody would consider Jensen and Bjergsen not to be imports.
For right now, yeah.
But
okay, let's say natives then. Okay,
natives?
So we have two natives. We have Palafox and Jojo Pyun. Vikla import, Gory import, Ablaze Olive 3. Harry is OS, so we're not going to count that.
We're not going to count that one.
And then Maple. So we have 3 out of the 10.
We have very few compared to our resident supports.
Which we have Busio, resident. Sven, not resident. Poom, resident. Ignar, not resident.
I mean, we do have Biofrost, who's...
No, I don't think he's going to be on the team. Vulcan, resident, 3. Afro. Well, Isla is not a resident. Because this is old.
I guess, yeah, Afro's old.
Who he's technically not a resident because isn't he French or something?
No, he's Korean.
Is he Korean?
I think he is Korean. I'm pretty sure he's been in the U.S. for forever.
Yeah. But at one time he was an import with CLG, I believe.
Was he?
For like a split or something. I don't remember.
We need to look up a lot of this stuff before.
We're looking this up right now, live.
I know he's... I know he was born... Okay, he was born in France. His nationality is Korean. Okay, so yeah, he did have a residency in Korea.
I'm just trying to see if he. Yep. So 2018.
2018.
He got North American residency, and then he got kicked for MCL.
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't count. Fleshy doesn't count. Core JJ doesn't count. Chime does count. So we have 4. So 1 more.
Hey. 1 more already.
Anyways, okay, we were on FlyQuest. We finished. Golden Guardians. We finished.
Immortals.
Immortals. We did.
Team Liquid. Summit's back.
Mm-hmm. We got Pioshik, Harry,
World Champion Pioshik.
Yon, which isn't that who Core JJ played with while he was getting his green card?
Yes. Okay. So it was Yon and Core JJ, and then.
And Yon was pretty good.
Hansama and Ayla.
That's right.
And both of those were really good.
Yeah. And then we have Yon and Core JJ, which that to me that team's gonna be disgusting.
It means the Korean team.
Yeah, literally. With Marin as their coach, so it's literally Korean.
Literally the Korean team.
Yeah.
And I think it's been confirmed they're just speaking Korean.
Which is gonna be really interesting for their practices, like if they practice their I don't know if they'll practice with their academy team or what, but
I mean, I think they'll practice against them, but I don't know if they'll practice with them.
Yeah.
Because their academy is like all NA.
Yeah. And then Spawn, who is OS.
So.
And then TSM, going budget, we got Solo, Boogie, I think it is, or Boogie. I think it's Boogie. I think it's Boogie.
He's Korean.
Maple, Neo, which I really like Neo. I hate that teams don't like him for some reason. And then Chime. So, that is our LCS rosters. Before I forget again, the other big thing about this Challengers League news is the Salt League. Is that what you're calling it?
NACL.
Oh.
It's the Salt League.
So they are including this notification of interest system. So what this is any LCS organization that is interested in a player notifies that player's team, and that team has to notify that player of a team's interest.
Okay.
So that player can decide if they want
to stay with their
or switch to a team.
Okay.
But it has to be an LCS roster spot.
Yeah.
So let's say
not an academy roster spot, but an LCS roster spot. Yep. But that would mean that it doesn't. Okay, I'm actually curious because, like, I know a lot of organizations will bring up players and then they'll sell those players from their academy slots.
Right. I think you still have to buy out their contract, but I think it just gives the challenger players more. I wouldn't say more say, but like
more opportunity. Yeah,
because I don't. I'm assuming that this was an issue in the past, and that's why they're bringing it up. Because and the other thing is, professional teams can only have 2-year maximum contracts on players.
That is much
which is kind of nice.
Because players getting locked in contracts are the worst.
Oh, and the provisional teams. So these aren't the 10 locked-in rosters. Provisional teams have to have NA residents on the team.
Mm-hmm. And they have to be at least 15, which they have to be 18 for LCS, right? Or 17?
I think it's 17. And they have to have 7 players on a roster, a head coach, and a manager. So, like, an actual organization, not just... Yeah. I like this notification of interest just because it gives players more... I don't know, what's the best word? Like, hope, I guess? Like...
I think just opportunities.
They can see what opportunities are out there and decide if they want to take advantage of them or if they want to wait for a different opportunity or wait.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a good change, especially if for some reason teams weren't.
I mean, if there were teams that are like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna not tell
them that this team contacted us to buy them, whereas now they have to.
Like it has to be done.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, if someone wants Hanser, TSM can't be like, oh, we had 3 teams ask about his contract, but we're not going to say anything because we want to potentially keep him. Yeah. No, now they have to, which Hanser is younger than Solo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Solo's old.
I didn't know Solo was that old.
Not saying being old is bad. I don't even think he's the oldest in the LCS. I think that's Afro. Or I guess Afro's not on a team.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably double lift.
Almost the same age
Definitely
as
29.
Solo.
Yeah.
Am I wrong though about Afro? I think he's 30. Yeah, that was 30.
Old.
Yeah. But
Old.
yeah.
But yeah. All right. LCS or LEC, sorry. Okay. They came out with their rosters pretty quick. I feel like they usually do though. They kind of make up their minds pretty quickly.
Sorry, I was curious.
No, you're good. We're just vetting this. So we got Finn113. No idea who that is.
He
Quit eating the lights, girl.
That's the cat, not the child.
Sorry.
From this, it looks like he's young. From the EMEA, so I'm not entirely sure where, but he's at least a resident jungler.
Yes. And then they have Dahor coming back. And
Kabe jumping.
So, which Kabe wasn't on the team. Was he?
That was.
You sure? Wasn't he on another team?
I'm pretty sure he was.
I will type for you.
I'm pretty sure he was on Astralis.
You're right. He was.
He was on Misfits last year, and then he went to Astralis this year.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. Yep. Excel has some big changes.
Yes.
Otawamne, Xerxes, VTO, Patrick, Targamas.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised about that roster.
Yeah, I'm hot and cold on this roster.
I think that's got good parts. I'm just surprised that certain teams let players go. I didn't see that happening.
Like
But-
Mark Kuhn doesn't have a team.
Well, I'm not even talking. I'm just talking the specific roster. It surprises me that Rogue or KOI let Odo go.
I could see letting Odo go. I feel like he was probably the weakest, and not necessarily weak, but wasn't getting better.
I guess I can see that.
Like you know what you were getting from Odo. You're getting a top 5 top.
You're getting a top 5 top, but you're not getting the top.
Right. And so I think they're rolling the dice on a young player to see if they can get the top.
No, I think that's fair. The one that's surprising me most is G2 letting Targamas go. I feel like Targamas was a lot of the reasons that they won a few games.
Yeah.
So, surprises me. I mean, I'm nothing against G2's roster. I think they've got a good roster. But, just surprises me a little bit.
That is surprising. Then we have Fnatic. They're running it back minus their bot lane.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing in Reckless and Rux, which Rux they promoted from their secondary team.
He played at Worlds?
At Worlds, yeah.
He did. So, I think he only played in play-ins, but he played at
Yeah.
Worlds.
G2, they have Broken Blade. Yike, I think his name is. Yike.
Yike. I mean, he is European, so maybe he came. Maybe
They're all European.
Well, I
Except for
know,
Modern,
just pronunciation. That means it could be either Yike or Yike.
Yeah. Caps, Hansama's coming back to LEC, and then Mickey X is coming back to G2.
Yep.
Mad Lions, they have Chassis. No idea who Chassis is, but
He's
Elyoya, Niski, Karzi is coming back, and then Hillisang is going to be the support. KOI, this is their big change. Shiginda, I think his name is.
yeah.
And then they're running it back with the rest of the 4. SK Gaming, Irrelevant. Gilia Certes coming back. Exakick, no idea who that is. DOS, no idea who that is. Need to, I guess, brush up on my
Yeah, you need to.
LEC. The EU Masters, I guess.
The BDS.
BDS, we have
Adam's coming back.
Sheo,
Back to the main
Nuclearant,
roster.
Crowny, Lebra. This roster is boomer bust.
Yeah.
Heretics. I'm excited for this Heretics roster.
I'm excited for
I like
this.
Evie.
Evie is
Evie is awesome. He is.
he's
Where is he from? Detonation Focus?
Yeah, he's from DFM.
He's always the best. Like
he's the thumbs up guy.
Yes. Then Yankos, Ruby. This is probably the Jack Spectra, who I've never seen him play, but I've heard that he's
heard
insane,
crazy things about him.
That he's probably the best, one of the best AD carries in the LEC, and he hasn't played in the LEC ever. And they've been saying that the last few years that he's probably the best.
Yep.
He's been stuck behind. I don't know if he's been stuck, but he's been on K-Core, and they kind of pay out for players.
Yeah, I mean K-Core is.
Actually, no, he wasn't on K-Core.
No, because K-Core was.
Because it was Reckless.
Was Reckless, but.
I think he was K-Core before Reckless replaced him.
Might have been. I don't know. I'd have to look at that one. I just want to point out. I think that's a typo there. It's not Hersa. It's Mersa.
It is Mersa, I believe. Yes.
Who was
yeah, because I was like, who's Hersa?
I know.
Oh, and they have Peter Dunn as their coach. That's right.
Or actually Canada, isn't he?
No, he's European. I think he's British.
Is he?
Pretty sure. While you, well, I have to type for you.
You have to type anyway. I'm pretty sure
Peter Dunn is UK, British, baby.
You're right.
But he built Mad Lions and Splice.
And EG.
And EG, yes.
He was just on EG.
He's built some pretty good teams. And then Vitality is Photon, Bo, who I'm super excited to see Bo, Perks, Neon, Kaiser. So that'll be an interesting team.
I'm actually kind of liking Vitality.
I do too. It'll just be interesting to see how they do.
I do feel. I'm assuming you would want to rank them, or
yeah. How do we want to? Let me make sure this looks.
Because I do have
decent. Okay.
I do have feelings about some of these
I'm thinking we do like S tier is competing for championship, right?
Yeah.
A tier is like
Playoff.
A tier is like
playoff.
mid tier playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
B lower tier playoffs.
C
barely
maybe,
missed out.
Or barely missed out.
D hot garbage.
Yeah. Okay, I want to throw two teams into hot garbage.
We gotta throw TL in S tier, right?
No, I think TL goes S tier. Two teams I want to throw hot garbage is Immortals and TSM.
I might disagree with you on TSM.
Okay. Fair enough, but
I think there's worse teams than TSM. That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think TSM's good.
I'm not a big fan of the TSM
Back
roster.
to the roster.
Yeah. Well, when looking at the roster, Solo, is.
This is a bottom tier playoff team.
I think it all comes down to how well Boogie plays.
Would you put? Okay, let's go through the teams.
Immortals. We can start at the top, if we would like.
No. Let's start with TSM. Would you put Immortals above TSM?
I would put them on the same level.
See, I would say they're slightly below TSM. In my opinion. Golden Guardians.
I don't know much about Gory.
He played with, well, he was on PSG Talon, but he didn't make the roster.
That one I do have.
I just have huge questions about their bot lane. Stixay, Huhi.
I feel like Huhi can have high points. Stixay's just been kind of lackluster for the last couple of years.
Same with Licorice for me.
And Licorice has been kind of lackluster since his Cloud9 days.
Like, I'm just looking at, like, 100 Thieves is above them. Cloud9 is above TSM.
Mm-hmm.
CLG is above TSM.
I would put CLG above TSM.
Dignitas is above TSM. Armoot, Santorin, Jensen, Spot, Ignore. Come on. No.
I would do it. I would put them above.
Don't be dumb. EG is above
them.
TSM. So they're at 6 right now.
FlyQuest is above them.
So they're at 7th, right? If I'm doing math right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
they're
so,
above Golden Guardians.
I guess, yeah, I would put them
And
above
I
Golden
put them
Guardians.
up barely
and
above Immortals. So they're, and then Teal's above them, so they're 8th.
Yeah. Okay, so
So I put them
they're
B, C
barely
tier.
making. I would put them C tier because they're just making.
That's what I was thinking. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's TSM.
Bad. If we're going off of this, though, I would throw Golden Guardians down with Immortals as well.
See, those were my 2 teams. That's why I thought you were going. And then
when you
said
I'm not a
TSM.
fan of the TSM roster.
I'm not either. No, I don't think this is the way.
I just looking at it, like you're importing. Okay, Maple. I don't hate the import. Right? I mean, he played decently last year once he got comfortable with it. Chime, I think, is a good player. I think he is LCS caliber. I think
too.
Neo's LCS caliber. My issue is solo. It's the same issue with why. Well, we were just talking about it, but why KOI dropped Odo.
Right.
You know exactly what you're getting with solo. You know what kind of player he is. He's not going to grow.
It's worse than Odo though. You're not
You're not getting a top 5
you're
even, but like
max 5th or 6th best top laner.
That's
like just a mid.
You're getting a mid
top laner.
Mid top laner, and then Boogie might be really good. My issue that I'm coming up with is, like you just said, what was he on last year?
Boogie was on LL. He was in the LLA.
Yeah, he was in the LLA.
He was in Estral, I think it's called. They won Spring, I believe. He was really good.
I have no doubt that he was good.
Estral Esports.
Yeah, he was on Estral. It's just
which they won. Yeah.
He spent most of his. I mean, he got to Worlds in 2020. With V3, or yeah.
He was in DFM.
No, it was against DFM on V3.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But like he's made it to Worlds. Like, he's not bad. It's just he's like I don't know about importing him because he's not a young player. He's experienced. He's 24.
Yeah. Oh, he's on Flashables?
Yeah, but maybe I'm wrong because like obviously like some players are
and it could work
older, and I would say like their top like Core JJ is 28. Like Core JJ, I would still say is one of the best supports in the league right now. So
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't. I'm not high on it.
Yeah. Our bottom tier playoff teams to me are CLG and Dignitas.
I would be more inclined to put Dignitas in C tier above TSM.
I could see that. I just think that is it disrespectful to put them?
I could also see him putting him in B tier as like low playoff tier.
I'll put him in C tier. That's fine.
The other one that I wanted to throw. Actually, I don't think there's any other team that
I really am. I'll be interested to see what FlyQuest do. To me, they're like their range is S, A, or B tier.
Yeah.
Like they could either hit really well, be decent, or they'll be barely scraping by.
No,
So I'm kind of tempted to put them in the middle.
That's where I was thinking putting them in A tier. I was actually wanting to put quite a few in A tier. I would think FlyQuest, EG.
See, I think EG might actually be S tier, and here's why. Let me explain to you. So, someday, upgrade over Impact, in my opinion.
That one's a hard one.
Impact is a top 5, absolutely, but someday is a top 1 or 2 top. He was he's all pro. It was EG and someday for all pro voting last year.
That is true. And I will agree that I think someday is over EG. I mean not EG, but over Impact. I mean, he's on top of EG now.
Yeah.
But my only issue is they have different play styles, so it's really hard.
True, but I think his playstyle it'll still fit in.
Yes, my only issue is from preseason, it looks like a tank meta, and I'm not always thinking of someday as the tank
That's
player.
true. That's true.
I usually would lean more towards impact on the tanks.
Yeah, that's true.
But like some days, Ornn was fantastic, and I think Ornn's gonna be really good. I feel like the new champion Cassante's playing like it is an Ornn-ish kind of champion, so I think he'll also be really good. So someday might be better than Impact. I just feel like they have different play styles, so it's harder to say who's better than the other. Because someday, fantastic on carries.
Yeah,
Just Renekton,
absolutely. So good.
fantastic.
I can see that. I can agree with you.
Awesome.
So this might be a hot take. I feel like I know everybody's hype on Danny. I thought Danny was really good. I think FBI is just as good as Danny is. And I think the problem why FBI looked bad, which I don't think he even looked that bad last year,
was Huhi.
Is Huhi, because Huhi's
does run
laning
it
is
down.
real bad. He doesn't know how to lane.
He does not know how to.
He sucks at enchanters, which was 90%, especially this summer last year, was enchanter meta.
I would say with the exception of Lulu.
Yeah, his Lulu's alright.
His Lulu was good.
Alright. Yeah.
The rest, yeah.
But they were playing like Soraka and Yumi. That's not. He's not good at those.
He's not good at those. Like him on set.
Instead of Lulu, I would say Nami. Because their Lucian Nami was pretty good.
The Lucian Nami was pretty good.
But I think that's more FBI is really good at aggressive AD carries.
Yes.
Which I think will actually fit perfectly with Vulcan inspired JoJo.
No, I agree with that.
And I really think Vulcan is underrated. Like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Like
he is a top 2 support.
He's a top 2 support, and I think
maybe top 3.
He'll make FBI, like he'll lift FBI up to FBI's level that he was at before.
Okay, no, I could see that. I think also part of it, in my opinion, is Danny in spring of last year versus Danny in summer of last year were very different.
Yeah.
And also, just gonna throw out there that Danny in lane was hot garbage.
It was not good.
It was bad. He was just able to come back because they pumped everything into him. And when you're playing Jinx and they pump literally all their resources into you, you can just right click.
And Danny was, I would say he's flashier. Like he's willing to take risks.
Yes, which is actually really weird to say because I feel like FBI is definitely the one that is known to take risks.
True. So where would you put EG?
I would put EG in A tier, above FlyQuest personally.
Okay.
Jeez.
You can't see him, but over here.
And see, I think as well I would put 100 Thieves behind FlyQuest in A tier. For me, all 3 of them could go anywhere between S to B.
I'm tempted to put 100 Thieves in B.
Okay.
Above CLG. And I'll get into my 100 Thieves breakdown next time.
Thanks, bro.
But I feel like you're banking on a combination of old talent and new talent, and you're banking on that old talent, which one player hasn't played in a year.
Played in a year.
And the other's still good, not as good, but still good. And then your new talent, you're planning on them matching or surpassing the talent that they replaced. So I feel like that's a big leap.
I agree with that. My counterpoint will be, while Bjergsen there was a noticeable drop off. Bjergsen's play style in the last few years has been much more of a supportive. Like when you think of Bjergsen, you're thinking of like Zillion.
Right.
Which I think unlocks closer even more.
Right, because it's a better Abaddon.
It's a better Abaddon.
Yeah.
As great as Abaddon was, I actually still think Abaddon was fantastic.
I love Abaddon. I'm sad that he's not on any team, so.
At least not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
But I see. I think Bjergsen's going to unlock closer even more because you really want a carry jungler with Bjergsen, and closer is a carry jungler. Whereas I feel like on Team Liquid that was an issue because
you talked me into it as a 100 Thieves fan. Well, and I'm also looking at Unforgiven, and I really like Unforgiven. I still think he's good, and I think that
I think having Unforgiven on your academy roster is
because if Double Lift doesn't perform, you just promote Unforgiven.
And Unforgiven looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, we're harping on Mad Lions.
And Unforgiven's only 22. He's young.
He's young.
Like, this is only his 3rd year, I think, in the league or something.
I think something like that. Like, he's young.
Super young.
He's good.
Yeah.
He looked good. Even, like, they were willing to, like, blind pick him Draven.
Yeah.
And, like, there was a reason for that. He's good.
No, I like Unforgiven, so. I don't think they're a top 4 team, in my opinion, because I think you got to put Cloud9 up here.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Cloud9's the other S tier team.
You think they're S tier?
I think so.
I have questions on Diplex, but I feel like the other 4 gelling even more. And I also feel like, I don't know, I feel like Mithy is a better coach than Max Waldo is.
Yeah, no, I can kind of see that. Max Waldo was always a little bit more off meta.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also like this feels bad to say, but I do feel like last year Jensen was the weaker link.
I agree.
Of Cloud9. And like I felt like Bjergsen's Vin, but not Bjergsen, Berserker's Vin. Berserker's was potentially the best AD carry in the summer playoffs.
I think he was.
I
don't know who would have been up there with him.
Fudge is a top 3 top laner. Even though he played mid for half of last year.
Yeah.
Blabber is still one of the top junglers, so I feel like the fact that you have 4 returning, especially with a bot lane that
Sven was probably 3rd support.
Yeah, no,
by the end of the year.
He got into support, and the fact that you have a bot lane that wants to play together.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. And so I feel like even if Diplex isn't great, I feel like that was the spot where they...
Which I've heard Diplex mainly specializes in melee team fighting mids. Which could be really freaking interesting.
Like, what are we talking about here? Like Silas?
I want to say he played
Silas
a lot
Akali.
He played Malphite. Yes, 2022. Gragas. Swain.
I mean, Swain's not melee. But
Swain,
yes.
Silas, Galio. Renekton, mid.
I mean, Yone. I mean, if he is playing that will be an interesting. It doesn't. It looks like he's a pretty standard.
Game.
Looks like a pretty standard.
Played a Nocturne game.
I mean, everybody was playing Nocturne.
Jace, Lee Sin, Silas, Galio, Set, Viego. A little bit crazier in this one.
I am all for the crazy now.
Yeah, so he definitely has a wider champ pool. You could argue than Jensen does.
Yeah.
Jensen's very limited, and he's only 19 years old.
He's only 19.
Like, he's super young.
If we're going off of
and their whole team, like, Fudge is 20, Blabber's 22, Diplex 19, Berserker 19. Sven is the old man, he's 25.
Yeah.
Like, that's a super young roster.
And honestly, I mean, Sven's playing support, which is often considered the least mechanical role.
Yeah.
So, also just going off of it, they have, I mean, look at their academy team. They have Imenez, who's supposed to be pretty good coming in from Korea. And Diplex takes an import slot, so like you have options for mid lane if they want to import anybody.
Yep.
So I think they would go in S tier for me.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I was borderline AS with them, so I think that's good for our rankings.
We'll have to
do the LEC next time
because I have teams I want to talk about because I think bad decisions were made for some people, and
Oh.
good decisions were made for others.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'll give some teams that
Any,
they made good choices.
Teasers?
Any
team you want to
teasers?
call out here? And then we'll get into it.
I think Mad Lions lost pretty badly.
Okay.
I think Team Vitality looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Heretics actually will be interesting.
Yeah.
I am very curious on what's going to happen here.
I am too.
Because they could be really good. Or they could just not gel at all.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Well, that'll be next time. So, thank you for watching. We will see you guys later.